Oh, yeah. Welcome in another Eagles victory. That's what we've done here pretty much on this show. Routinely, week in and week, all but one. We've talked about an Eagles victory. Now, the headphones are on, meaning we're expecting somebody here. And with that conversation with G. Cobb, we'll try and look at everything that has happened to lead us to this point here where the Philadelphia Eagles are by far the best team in the NFC. And not by that thin of a margin now, the best team in the NFL. I know Kansas City is lurking or hovering or whatever the hell, but this is about the Eagles. This is about what they did to the New York Giants, how bad it looked. My goodness. The Giants, the first start of the season, captivated the football world. Brian Daboll was anointed head coach of the year because, oh my goodness. And then you see the NFL's a long year, which makes you appreciate, mind you, what the Philadelphia Eagles have done this entire season outside of that one game in division. So with that said, let's bring on G. Cobb. As always, it's a pleasure, my friend. And we'll talk about everything and all that you're doing here, as well as what's going on with the Philadelphia Eagles. So first and foremost, good to see you, man. And remind the world wherever we may find you.
Well, of course, I'm doing the Fox29. We do our pregame show every week. In fact, this week, I think we're going to be on Saturday, like 3:30 to 4:30, something like that.
Okay.
But
program reminder.
That's right. That's because of the World Cup.
Gotcha.
Then they got the World Cup. But anyway, so we're going to be like 3:30, 4:30, I believe, on Saturday afternoon. But usually it's 10 to 11. Every Sunday, 10 to 11. I'm doing that. I do a thing with Dan Cilio every Monday.
Yeah. Okay.
I do a thing with him, which is on YouTube. You see it. It's nice. From like 4:30 to 5 every Monday. I do that with him, and that's pretty much it. That's pretty much mainly what I'm doing right now. I'll probably be doing some more things, but right now that's where you can get me every week, and I'll be talking about the Eagles, and of course pop up some other places talking about the Eagles. But that's mainly what I'm doing.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, so let's look at this, man. And you played on the other side of the football. You played on defense where it's just business as usual. Like if you guys put an ass whooping on a team, it's great to see. It's great to I'm sure the shower feels better. The flight home feels better. Everything feels better. But that's expected, right? I don't know if there's anything more demoralizing in sports, G, than an offense instilling an like on the ground. Just hands, right? Offense is supposed to be flashy, big passes in the end zone, dancing and all that. But when you man up like the Eagles can do week in and week out, it's demoralizing.
Well, without a doubt. And that's why, I really don't want to see them ever get totally away from that, because it's something that you can do regardless of the weather. You can go in, and when you crush somebody like that, first of all, it takes a while for it to get over. That stays, it's like a stain that stays on them. But the thing it does is it's something you can do anytime. Doesn't matter what the weather is. You can put the ball on the ground and grind people and humble them. It really is a humbling. And see, the reason I know so much about this, see, when I played at USC, that's all we did.
Yeah.
They didn't have they didn't have all the fancy passing. We're running the ball on you guys. Our defense is going to crush you, and that's it. We don't want to hear the explanation, because we're going to come in and humble you. And there's something about when you're beating up, it's like a boxing match. When a guy, one guy is just much better than the other guy, he's dominating him, and he's looking them in the eye while he's doing it to him.
Right.
The guy can't do it. He's doing everything he can. The guy, every time he counter punching him, and every time he tries to hit him, he gets hit harder. That type of domination, which the Eagles are capable of doing. And see, that's the thing, is they can beat you in so many different ways.
Right.
And then with the fact that they do different things with these options, with Jalen utilizing his legs, which means the numbers are in the Eagles' favor, because nobody usually counts the quarterback as a runner. See, but what they do is they will spread everybody out and have you going outside when maybe their best runner is now back there, and you got no linebackers. They're all, taken up because you got one-on-one blocks with everybody, and somebody's got to come off and make a superhuman play, like meaning they got to get off of Jason Kelsey and make the tackle too, which very few guys are able to do that when Jalen's busting through there. So they have the numbers, and so they play that numbers game. They can play the physical game where they're punching them out. Then they can play the drop back pass game, meaning that you put people in there and they see you don't have people good enough to cover our guys. So you know what we're going to do? I think we're going to throw the ball on you guys for 380 yards. How you like that? Or we're going to run it on you for 200 and some yards or 300 yards. To be able to do that, there haven't been a lot of offenses in the history of the game to be able to do those type of things. So, I don't want to be putting up in that rare air until they go out and do it in the playoffs. Because, teams like the great Redskins teams, when they had Riggins and those guys, they did it in the playoffs, meaning like they go out and run for 200 yards plus on somebody with Riggins running down people's throat, meaning like, where they tell the guy, look, you're going to take this whooping, and you know what else? We're going to make you like it too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's painful when a team is done that way. But the Eagles have shown that, but they need to show it in the playoffs. Can they do this in the playoffs where they can dominate a game in numerous ways and the other team is sitting over there almost defenseless and everybody's sitting there going, this game is over, and it's halftime. That's what was amazing what they did to the Giants. But the Eagles have the potential, this potential. But really, we're going to play the end of the season, but, the chances are very high that they're going to be the number one seed. But it's going to now where it's not about that anymore. It's about the Eagles having their best game ready for whoever they're going to play. Somewhere or another, they're going to run into the Cowboys and the 49ers. And can they beat those guys on one given Sunday with the whole nation watching? That's what's going to come down to. If they can do that, then they'll go to the big dance, and then they can put that thing on in the big dance. Now, I will say the Eagles have shown the potential to really be scary.
Yeah.
But the whole thing is you got to do it with the bright lights on. See, they're going to have a whole week of everybody talking about this particular game. You got the bright lights on. You got the whole nation watching. You got all the other teams watching. And let's see what you got. Can they put on a display that they've been putting on, like the way they beat the Giants, the way they took care of Tennessee, the things they've done all year, the way Jalen has played. Can you do that in the bright lights? Now, if he can do it in the bright lights, cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching.
Why though? Why when you see, Carolina, that 15-1 year, when you see teams that finish with the best record. Now, you'll get the Chiefs that'll pop it in this conversation. Say, hold on now, but that's and maybe the Eagles fall into this mold, but it feels like more often than not, it's not the team who finishes at the top every single year. Now, you may have 1 and 2s in the Super Bowl and all, but it feels. Is it just a matter of getting tight at the wrong time? There's got to be something else in this game, right, that fuels that.
Well, I tell you, Eytan, there's just something about football which is akin to boxing. There's a tough side, a tough edge of football.
Right.
Where, that's why I don't want to see the Eagles get away from that smash mouth running game where, because sometimes they'll get into a finesse running game. Smash mouth keeps you on the edge. It's like a boxer who's gotten punched in the face.
Right. Right.
Just something about punching him in his face wakes him up and where he goes, okay, all right. Oh, so you want to fight now? Okay. Now, they got to go in there where they got to have that edge to them. You can't let that get away from you in football. Because, see, I talk about playing football. Well, really, you fight football. See, it's a fight. The defensive offensive linemen are fighting. Mm-hmm. They are not playing.
Right.
Okay. Because one guy says, move. God, no, I'm not going to move. No. See, when the Eagles offensive line comes up there, they go, you know what? Move out of the way.
Right.
Dude, who you think you're talking to? I'm not moving.
Yep.
No, you're moving. And then they come off with that double team and get that dude moving, going, You moving now.
Mm-hmm.
Move him off the ball, then come off and get on the linebacker. And they keep, after every play, they're getting up going like, dang. Yeah, dang. Yeah, you back up, and they are physically beating these guys. See, that's football. And that's what you can't ever get away from that. Because if you get away from that, then you lose your edge some, So I don't want the Eagles to get away from that. But they got to have that on a specific Sunday.
Right.
Or a number of, really probably be
a couple now.
Yeah. 2 Sundays before the Super Bowl. They get on that edge where they come out and they're part ready to fight and they're sharp, where they're on top of everything, because you got to make the different strategic moves, especially, Jalen and the Eagles offense. But a lot of the team, like the linemen, all the defensive players, they're out. They got to show up ready for a fight. They got to show up nasty and ready to hit people. And so, but you got to be sharp. I mean, part of football is that physical part, but part of it, you're an executive. Oh, okay. They like to do this such and such out of this. Oh, we know what they like. There are 3 plays out of this formation. Oh, such and such. Okay, then what? You tell all you guys, hey, there's such and such. So we all know, hey, they're going to run one of three plays. And see, in order to do that, you got to have done your homework. You guys got to have guys that are smart, meaning like they're not only physical. I mean, for lack of a better explanation, it would be like an Army unit that's going in, or you got a unit that's playing somewhat. Maybe you got a one of those movies where the guy is undercover,
right?
And he's got to go in and get somebody. But so he got to have a kind of an edge to him where he will take somebody out if he needs to. But he's got to be smart too, though.
Right.
So he's reading everything. He's looking at all the detail. That's what you got to do. That's why it's so fascinating to play the game, because when they come up in formation, oh, okay, so you guys gonna run that draw, huh? Okay.
Yep.
Okay, you're gonna run the draw. Okay, I see my man cheating over there. Okay, oh, look at that lineman. He's giving away the play. Because a lot of time when the linemen get tired, they give the play away. Meaning the guy's gonna pull, so he's sitting back. Because they're so big, they can't just sit regular. But see, it takes years to figure out all this stuff, to where you're able to get all these reads. And a lot of times, once you get knowledge in all these different areas, your body's giving out, so you can't keep playing. So that's when guys go and they coach, or maybe they get on the air and they're talking about it, because your body's worn out. But you see these things, you can sit and look at the tape and all that. So football is very fascinating in that way.
Amazing, man.
That you got to have both of those edges. You got to have that mental sharpness. And see, Jalen shows that. Yep. I mean, the way he has come to where he's able to recognize the coverage. See, that's what a quarterback's got to do all the time. Got to recognize what coverage are they in. Okay, I know that's what a weakness. Okay, so my man over here is one-on-one. He's one-on-one on AJ. Or he's one-on-one with Devontae.
Yeah, even better, right?
Yeah,
that's going to be the second corner. That's one-on-one with him.
That's right. So that's what they do. And sometimes, the guy is going to give away, they're doubling AJ. The guy comes, okay, so they're doubling him. So the rest of these guys are one-on-one. So, being able to know that, and it's beautiful when you see the way Jalen's playing, where he's dialed in, where he knows what coverage they're in, and he's slicing them up. He starts out, usually every game he will start out, and I've seen, unfortunately, I've been on the wrong side of some of these where I'm playing against Joe Montana and I see him start slicing us up. You know what I mean? Or Marino, where, he's going to pick
that up. Yep.
Montana's going to start out with that short throw to the running back. See?
Right.
Because now he's seeing where everybody's at. Okay, so he's going to just take this. Now you go up and try to take that away. Now he's going to hit the curl. Okay. He's throwing to the wide out on that next level. And then once that safety starts cheating him up, he's up top, you know.
Yep.
So it's wasn't fun when you're playing against a guy, but it's fun to watch it on the sideline, when I'm sitting back watching
Absolutely.
It. And that's what Jalen's been doing.
If he's in the same convo as taking advantage of tendencies as Montana and Marino this year. Only this year. How about that? In the regular season.
I can't mention him yet in that.
I know. I'm messing.
But
I have to ask you though, G, real quick on the way out, man, because The time is so valuable here, just the insight into the game and how you see this year.
Yeah.
Look at what they've done to come to this point. They've only lost that one game in division to Washington, and Washington beat them like that. Washington beat them.
Yeah.
The last 4 weeks of the season, you've got 2 division games, Dallas, New York. You also have 2 stinkers with Chicago and New Orleans. Yeah. And as much as you know, when you are out of it and you've got a month left, you aren't looking at next week. You're looking at next month. You're looking at your vacation plans, but maybe. Right, like it's let me qualify this. It's one thing if you can spoil somebody's, it's one thing. But I don't know what the Eagles will have to spoil. They're going to have home field clinched up. How many games do you think they lose in the final month?
Well, I would think the only thing that I could see them really is losing. They could lose one, and then the last game maybe, because
that doesn't mean anything, right?
The Dallas game is the one game they could lose. That's going to be a game, and Dallas is going to put a lot in that. So you're going to get their best effort there, because they would like to get an edge in case they run into the Eagles again in the playoffs. So they would like to beat them. And then plus, they beat them earlier in the year. And that's the only team that could play with them. Even though, in the last Giants game, who knows what Eagles are going to show up in Eagles uniforms. I mean, they might sit down a lot of guys in that Giant game. So I don't know.
Chicago though, right? You're not worried about Chicago, huh?
I'm not really worried about Chicago. I'm not really worried about Chicago.
Out there, man.
No, I'm not worried about them, and I'm not worried about New Orleans. And just not worried about anybody else other than the Cowboys and the Giant game if they don't play the guys. So other than that. So, and the thing that the other teams have is, a lot of those guys are playing for their future. See, so you can have especially you got a quarterback, a number of those guys, they're coming out. They know, look, we could get us a contract out of this game. We could play well against the Eagles, and see a lot of those guys, they got their future. So, when they leave in the morning, they have that talk with mom and go, baby, don't go shopping, baby. Don't go shopping anywhere. Because it's all on the line. I got to go do something. And they know they got to have a good game. And a lot of those guys are playing for their future. The young guys, the older guys, when you play against a good team, a lot of times you can get other people looking at you. If guys are going to look for contracts around the league, if they can do something against the Eagles, it's going to mean a lot more than doing it against some other team. So they're going to have guys motivated. And the big thing is, the Eagles have to have that edge to them, because they got to realize it's not about this game we're playing. We're getting ready for big games. That's what we're doing. So we want to stay sharp, and we want to keep our knife sharp, because we will cut anybody's throat that we need to cut. I mean, you got to have that nasty.
Yeah, man.
You got to have a nasty attitude. Football is, all those tough positions, they're not played with you grinning at the guy like that. No.
Right.
I'm going to beat you down, man. I'm going to beat you down. And you're going to like it too. So that's what the Eagles are going to be doing the rest of the way. And, man, I love their chances. But they're going to have to do it in front of the nation, against the Cowboys, against the 49ers. They're going to have to beat them down in front of the nation and outsmart them and everything. And so it's going to be fun. This is going to be a fun ride.
G Cobb, can't thank you enough. Fox29, Dan Cilio, Mondays, right? G Cobb on the site. Where else?
That's it.
That's it. Okay.
I'm running around for the doing things for the league. So
constantly. I know you're busy, man. You're on the road and stuff. So we appreciate the time with you, man. Thank you, sir.
My pleasure. Have a good one.
It's G Cobb.